Good evening. We'll call this meeting of the Cartersville City Council to order. If you'll please stand for our invocation and pledge.
If you'll bow your heads. Our dear Heavenly Father, we ask your blessings on this city and the proceedings tonight. All this we ask in thy holy and precious name.
Amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Keeling, the roll, please.
Carrie Hodge, Ward 1. Here. Jay Stepp, Ward 2.
Here.
Louis Tonsmeyer, Ward 3.
Here.
Lindsay McDaniel, Ward 4.
Yes.
Diane Tate, Ward 5.
Here.
Lori Britt, Ward 6.
Thank you, Connie. We've got the first order of business is the approval of our council meeting minutes from October the 3rd. Council, you got these a couple days ago. Chair will entertain any edits, corrections, or motions.
That's your job.
Make a motion to approve, Mayor. I didn't see any corrections or deletions.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. If you'll please pass that down to the clerk, I'd appreciate that. We do have, is there anybody here representing Anheuser-Busch this evening? I don't think we do, but a couple weeks ago, they celebrated a milestone with their company in celebrating 20 years here. Since that time here, they've certainly brought an awful lot to our community as far as quality jobs. Been a great partner in economic development and also continue to be one of the leaders, if not the leader in their industry. A proclamation that we'll be presenting to them that says in part that the brewery, it's the newest brewery in the Anheuser-Busch system. It began brewing beer in 1993. The brewery produces more than 25 different brands in their 1,700-acre site, using approximately 1.7 million gallons of water daily provided by the city of Cartersville. The 12 Anheuser-Busch U.S. breweries have reduced their water rate by 37% over the past 4 years, efforts that were highlighted by the Cartersville Brewery, making it the most water-efficient brewery in the entire global company. The Quality Assurance Department of the Cartersville Brewery performs numerous test surveys and inspections during every major aspect of the brewing and packaging process, then has approximately 250 trucks a day delivering primarily to the states of Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, and South Carolina. The employees for the 10th consecutive year have sponsored a charity bike ride to give back to the community. They raise money for local charities, including Hickory Log Vocational School, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Bartow County, Cancer Navigators, with this event drawing more than 1,400 riders. And they're being great environmental stewards, recycling 99% of the solid waste generated in the brewing and packaging process. It makes everyday recycling day for them. So since 1988, the company has packaged and donated more than 72 million cans of fresh drinking water for emergency relief organizations following natural disasters, much of which was produced at the Cartersville location and even donated to communities in Bartow County during tornado relief situations. So I just wanted to recognize them and their 20th anniversary of being partners with us here in the community, and this will be presented to them at a later time. And certainly hope everybody will take a moment to reflect on how good they have been to our community and how they continue to be a positive, one of the many positive things about our community. And we congratulate them on 20 years and hope for at least 20 more. All right, our next item is the second reading of an ordinance. Chief Carter.
Mayor and Council, this is the second reading of an ordinance that was introduced at the last council meeting, and this is to add an emergency management section to our codes within the city of Cartersville. As recommended by the Georgia Municipal Association, works in conjunction with Bartow County Emergency Management and Georgia Emergency Management Agency. There have been no changes since the original reading.
Okay. Once again, this is the second reading. We took this up at our last meeting. Is there any further discussion or questions on this item? And if there are none, a motion would be in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Chief. Well, now we have a series of public hearings and first readings of various requests. We'll start with SU 13-05. Mr. Menino.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This, as well as the next two applications on the agenda, all have been properly posted and advertised, and there appears to be no conflicts of interest. This particular application is for 310 North Tennessee Street. It's a use permit application. If you recall, back in about 2010, when we amended the zoning ordinance, pawn shops became a use permit as opposed to an allowed use. With that, we've had a few applications for location along Tennessee Street. This request is for Jay Frazier, currently operating a business in a multi-tenant building at 310 North Tennessee Street. The request for pawn also includes in our ordinance pawn and title pawn. With that, the applicant had noted to the planning commission that he wasn't interested in title pawn because based on the comments that we received from the individual departments that review these applications, the police did have some concerns with doing a title pawn and parking of vehicles in a multi-tenant building at that particular location. With that, the applicant noted there was no intent to do that. With that, the planning commission did recommend approval with the condition that there be no outside storage associated with this business.
Okay. Any questions for Randy at this time? Thank you, sir. And right now, I'll open up a public hearing relative to SU 13-05. Anybody wishing to step forward, speak for or against, may do so at this time. And seeing none, I will close the public hearing for SU 13-05. There is no vote since this is the first reading. Council will take this up for final consideration in our first meeting in November.
Mayor, I have a question. Sorry, Randy. Randy, I have a question. It's on one of the standards, page 47. It deals with lights. That they will be putting lights up. I'm not sure what the adjacent homes are to this location.
I don't actually have the book that you get with the number of pages.
Come on. Yeah, certainly. We'll open up this public hearing. Once again, your name and address, please, ma'am.
Veronica Frazier, and it's 34 Cobblestone Drive, Cartersville.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, but no, there won't be any lights.
Well, now, wait a minute. It says intends to secure, excuse me, security lights on the property. The lights will be directed away from any residences, is what's written in here. I was just...
Right, just for clarification, yeah, I appreciate your time. In speaking with the applicant, Jay Frazier, he said that for security purposes, being that it's a gun store, they want to make sure that everything, including the door, cameras, lighting, is up to par with their standards, and so they've already got all the measures in place. There'll be no additional lighting or additional security needed.
But, Richard, what are the houses around? I mean, I can't visualize.
It's facing Tennessee Street.
This is an
Back
existing,
behind is what I was
This is
wondering.
Behind it is a little convenience store. Right behind it, it's not a little.
this is an existing multi-tenant building, and the tenant has already occupied the building with this existing gun shop. And there's the aerial right there. The residential is along the rear there.
And there's trees in there, too.
Correct.
Thank you.
We good? Thank you, Ms. Frazier. Right, now, but I think I've halfway opened up the public hearing again. I'm going to halfway close the public hearing again. Are we ready to move on from SU 13-05?
Yes, sir.
Let's move on to AZ 13-03. Randy?
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. This is an annexation and a zoning. This tract is at the corner, southeast corner of Dr. Ferry and Old Mill Road. The applicant, Shaw Industries Group, is looking to annex this into the city jurisdiction and zone it to the office commercial district. A portion of this tract is the existing, I believe it's Renaissance Bank at the corner. That had to be included as part of this application, or it would have created a unincorporated island. With that, they worked together to bring the entire tract in the city jurisdiction. Planning Commission did review this based on the standards. With that, Planning Commission did recommend approval of this annexation and zoning of this property to the office commercial zoning district.
Any questions for Randy at this point? And if there are none, thank you, sir. I'll open up a public hearing relative to case AZ 13-03. Anybody wishing to step forward, speak for or against, may do so at this time.
Mayor and Council, I'm John Wilkinson with Shaw Industries. Address is 1437 Oakhurst Drive in Ooltewah, Tennessee. Be happy to answer any questions you might have about this project.
Okay. Anybody? I'd like to ask you something. You came all the way down from Tennessee, but I think.
Well, from Dalton.
Dalton.
Yes.
That's not that far. Still happy to have you.
But I know where Ooltewah is.
But we're happy for the.
I know where that is, your town.
Pardon me?
I know where your town is in Tennessee.
She said she knows where you live.
Okay. Well, I will behave myself.
I'm not a stalker.
Okay. No questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, in the midst of a public hearing for AZ 13-03, anybody else wishing to participate? And seeing none, I'll close the public hearing relative to AZ 13-03. And since there is no vote required, we'll move on to the next item, file Z 13-05.
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. This request is for rezoning on 217 Cassville Road from the MF14 apartment zoning district to the OC office commercial zoning district. This property is located just down from the new Cartersville Police or Public Safety Facility. It came to our attention from the fire department. There was a request and they needed to take a look at it for living quarters, living purposes. At that particular time, the fire department contacted us to take a look at the zoning in that particular area, and it turned out that they were running the halfway house at that particular location, and in the MF14 zoning district it was not allowed. However, it is in the office commercial. With the property being along that particular roadway, Cassville Road, with other commercial and public institutional uses along there, it appeared that the OC zoning, which allowed that particular use in it, may have been the best option to move forward with the particular use they wanted to do. With that, the Planning Commission did review the application. The individual departments that review these cases on behalf of the city did review it. Again, the fire department did make comments. They weren't objective. They were not objecting to the application. However, they just wanted to make the applicant aware that he would have to meet the codes regarding to fire safety. With that, the Planning Commission did recommend approval of this application.
Okay, questions for Randy on this item?
Randy, help me please. Current zoning of adjacent property, north, public institutional. What is?
You have the MF14 right there at the residential. Richard's got the zoning map right here. The public institutional is the city's public safety facility. The cemetery is also public institutional.
But that's not immediately adjacent to this house.
Power transmission lines.
Okay, okay.
You see all the public institutional in the area. They have the MF14, which is the brown colored properties. Across the street where it says out, I believe that may be the self-recycle, part of the self-recycling facility. I don't know what that is zoned in the county. It's an industrial type use, but I don't know what their exact zoning is. We also have further up, further north on Cassville Road, the property that was zoned for commercial for the new Dollar General store and the convenience store that's on the other side of the creek there.
Are there restrictions about how many people can occupy the house?
There are, and that would have to be adhered to. Again, that wouldn't be something that would be contained within a condition of zoning. That would be in compliance with whatever the requirements are for the living quarters.
Randy, I don't think I got my question answered. Immediately adjacent to this piece of property, just, isn't it, see, I'm not sure, the public safety building is about 3 houses down.
Correct. Richard's
Okay.
showing you the public institutional wraps around and also goes down the power lines through there.
Okay, it's
And that-
power lines immediately adjacent.
Correct.
And then behind this house would be
There's a little bit of
industrial?
There's a little bit more of the MF14 zoning, but just beyond that is the public institutional. Is that the cemetery that's back there? The cemetery.
Does
is-
it wrap around that far?
Yes.
Does it?
You good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions for Randy at this point? Thank you, sir. And I'll open up a public hearing relative to Z13-05. Anybody wishing to step forward, speak for or against, may do so at this time.
Do you know John Adams? He's the pharmacist.
I'm John Adams, live at 100 Tanglewood Drive. This is a home that my wife and I own that's been rental property, and we rented it to a church-sponsored group, and they do have a number of men that live there. We learned here a couple of months ago that the city required an OC code for this number of men to live there, so that's why we requested this change. They have been good renters. There are a couple of houses. There's a little rock house next to this on the right side that is a rental property, and then the other property on down, I guess, is in transition. But the renters have been good, and that's the reason that we have requested this OC change to meet the city codes. We have been in touch with the fire marshal. As they told you, they have been out and checked the house. The fire marshal has said there are a couple of things we have to do to meet the requirements. One is add remote fire detectors in each bedroom in the house, and that basically was it. Everything else had been met, which we are going to do. But at any rate, we want this changed because we want to keep them there. They do a good job. It's a good service to the community, and so that's why we're requesting this.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Any questions? Thank you, sir. Again, a public hearing for Z13-05. Anybody else wish to participate this evening? And seeing none, I will close the public hearing for Z13-05, and we'll take this up for final consideration at our first meeting in November. Mr. Osborne, I believe you have the next item.
Thank you, Mayor. City staff has been working on a revision to the urban redevelopment plan. The revision would add a new boundary area adjacent to the I-75 Cassville White Road exit, number 296. By amending our plan to include this area, company representatives may be able to obtain increased job tax credits for new full-time hiring. City staff would work with Bartow County representatives to apply for a new joint city-county opportunity zone. September 19th council meeting served as a first legally advertised public hearing to discuss the revision. Today's meeting serves as a second public hearing. After the public hearing, Mayor and Council will consider the adoption of the proposed amended plan by resolution.
Okay. Hold on. Having to look in the book for something. Any questions? This is simply applying for an opportunity zone. If you're not familiar, opportunity zones, that's actually the industrial park, the JDA industrial park that's on the right-hand portion of that, and that would allow for a larger tax credit for companies that would be locating there if this opportunity zone would be approved. And that's kind of why the city and the county are going in together to pursue that designation. Thank you, Richard. Any other discussion on this item? If there are none, Chair will entertain a motion.
If you will, please, sir, before we entertain a motion,
Did you just interrupt me?
Public hearing.
Step forward. Thank you, Richard. I should know that by now. So thank you for giving me straight. I need a public hearing relative to the urban redevelopment plan. Anybody wishing to step forward and participate may do so at this time. And seeing none, I'll close the public hearing for the urban redevelopment plan. Thank you, Richard. And now council will take this up for consideration.
Motion for approval.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And motion carries. Mr. Menino, you have the next one, I believe, yeah.
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. If you recall, back in 2010, the Cartersville Bartow census numbers provided a population data that exceeded the threshold that required the area to be placed in part of the Metropolitan Planning Organization. We had a choice to join the Rome-Floyd County or the Atlanta Regional Commission. In coordination with the county, we chose to do our own Metropolitan Planning Organization, which will be the actual county boundaries. With that, as part of the Metropolitan Planning Organization, there are certain criteria that has to take place. There's several actual committees that have to be put in place: a policy committee, technical committee, citizens committee, and this resolution sets the members of the policy committee for the city of Cartersville. That is correct. It dictates that the mayor, the city manager, and the planning and development director be members on the policy committee.
Okay. Any questions or discussion? If not, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve. Go ahead.
Make a motion to approve the resolution for our self-contained MPO.
And I second that.
All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Randy. Now back to Richard.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is needed to allow the property owners at 19 Roving Road to refinance a single-family house. There is a $10,000 deed to secure debt and promissory note issued in 2011 to the city of Cartersville as part of the federal 5-year forgivable first-time homebuyers program. And this is a standard agreement by which this secondary or subordinate mortgage or lien remains in check and the refinance remains the primary mortgage. City Attorney's Office has reviewed the document and has no objections.
Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Wade, you've got the next one.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The City of Cartersville participates in the Community Rating System, which is a voluntary program through the National Flood Insurance Program. And it's time for us to recertify our application for 2014, and we are requesting the mayor's signature on this application.
Any discussion? If not, a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Michael.
Evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. August the 1st this year, y'all approved a bid award for us with Consolidated Pipe for us to get some 378 feet of 6-inch drill pipe. Consolidated has been unable to deliver that pipe to us. We have taken the steps to go ahead and bid that again to some 5 other bidders. And what we're asking for is that y'all give us the ability to cancel that officially with the bid award with Consolidated and award that to Cavco for $8,236.
Mayor, I have a question. I didn't ask in the work session. Michael, did Consolidated stay in touch with you all, and were they trying all along? I mean,
We certainly stayed in touch with them. Yes, ma'am. The
Okay.
bid was for they would make delivery in 2 to 3 weeks, and we were talking to them almost every day. And
We use them a lot.
oh
Yeah,
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 they've-
yeah.
they're a big supplier of ours for many things.
it was the particular kind of pipe.
The
is that-
particular X42 pipe that they said they were unable to put their hands on. But these
So this is
things are-
unusual for
Yes, it
them.
is. It certainly is.
Person, will this be a council at no charge? No, where they?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, no, it's gonna cost us an additional $1,246 to go with Cavco. But pipe, like a commodity, these things vary, and their bids are only good for 30 days at most. So here we are
And we need the pipe.
we need the pipe this week, really. I mean, and we're looking to have it on Monday.
All right, so if someone on council were to make a motion, I guess that motion would need to say to cancel the first part from
consolidated.
pipe and approve the recommendation of Mr. Hill.
And I will make that motion to cancel the previous bid with Consolidated Pipe and approve the purchase of the pipe from Cavco.
Thank you.
Second.
And I got a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion
Thank you.
carries. Thank you. Lamar, you've got the next one, and Dwight, you're on deck.
Mayor and Council, this is for a pass-through purchase of cameras and cabling and installation for the convention center for upgrading their video security. Recommend that they approve.
Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Lamar.
This is this is the renewal of our annual Medicare supplement plan for retirees over 65. We make a recommendation to renew that with United Healthcare at a rate increase of 5.9% over what we were paying this year, and that would be effective January 1st.
Okay. Any questions or discussion for Dwight?
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody opposed?
Yes.
I got one
I just
opposed.
got a question.
Oh, yes, sir.
Well,
It's too late for the question?
you can ask a question. We've already voted on it. You just want to know something and throw it out there.
No. I'm a little slow at it, but anyway, you changed sources. And the new source that we're buying from is 5% higher than the previous source?
No, sir, this is the same, this is the same provider.
Well, that's where I fell off the wagon then.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to? You're welcome to change your vote, or you can keep it the way it is. Either way is fine with me.
Okay, okay, I'll stay with it.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to make this easy for Connie. Are you in favor of it or opposed to it?
I'm for it.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Everybody good? Okay. Thank you. Mr. Reinhardt.
Honorable Mayor and Council, in 2011, the Bartow Cartersville Second Joint Development Authority was created in hopes that it would help act as a conduit for the land debt service of the industrial park. The second JDA essentially allows the debt on the park to be retired early using the callable feature in 2015 and can save an estimated $5 million. Operational funding of the second JDA is a joint cost between the city and county, and the total cost for 2013 is $14,000. The calendar year 2012 expenses were basically absorbed by the first JDA, and the city county attorneys got together and decided that 2013 expenses needed to be a new venture and in a separate account. So I'm asking for council to approve the city's portion, $7,000 of the second JDA to be paid out of the operating expenses this year. This is an unbudgeted item for this current fiscal 2014.
Since it's unbudgeted, how are we paying for it?
We will have to hopefully make sure that the revenue comes in and make it budgeted.
Make room for it, basically.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And this will be an ongoing thing, and I'll try to do my best to get it in the budget next year.
That's fine. Thank you. If that sounded like I was being critical, that wasn't my
No.
intent. Okay. All right, any questions?
So Mayor, the 7,000 is only one half. The county picks up 7 too. Is that
That
correct?
is correct.
Okay, 14,000 total. I'll make a motion to that effect.
I'll second it to that effect.
I've got a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, and you've got the next item as well.
Yes, sir. Honorable Mayor and Council, the heating and air unit on the second floor of the city manager's office is in need of replacement. It's approximately 30 years old. Been giving us a little bit of problems the last couple of years. We spent around $4,000 on repairs and have been advised that it will keep eating our money as we go along. The city met with 5 local vendors and walked through the scope of work to be performed. We actually had one of our couple of our building inspection folks to walk through to make sure that we're all on the same page, knew what needed to be done. After reviewing the 5 bid proposals, I let the building folks again look at those to make sure I was understanding them correctly. And it was determined that Penley, even though they're not the cheapest or the most expensive, they're kind of in the middle of things, it was decided that they should be awarded the bid award because two different things. First of all, they've been working on the unit continuous, I wouldn't say continuous, but every time it breaks down, they're the ones who've been coming in and working with it. They're familiar with the project. And secondly, they actually put in their bid the need for, and the proposal didn't really call for it, but they put in the need for metal ductwork, which is something that the city, our building inspection folks like and ask basically to have it done. As a result, the bid from Penley is $19,734.55, and it includes a 10-ton train unit and metal ductwork. And I ask for approval of this to be done.
So in the estimation of you and of the building inspectors, the people of the city, that this is the best bid for the project? Correct. Is that what you're saying? Thank you. All right. That being the case, if there's any other questions or discussion?
Just to add that this is an unbudgeted item, but it had to go through what these folks went through this summer, setting up their bacon with it broken and not knowing if it's ever going to work. It looks like it's probably cheaper in the long range to go ahead and replace it. And we've got folks up there overseeing $140 million.
We don't complain a lot, but this was kind of unusual, so. We would, I don't want to beg and plead, but we would appreciate it.
Motion to approve.
Based on begging and pleading.
Jason, did you have something?
No, I was just gonna make a comment. I mean, if I'm looking at this, of the 5 people, 3 turned in similar, you know, that option 2, where they're replacing everything and new duct with the unit. Penley is actually by far the cheapest.
As far as the
Compared
metal ductwork, yes.
Yeah.
The others use the flexible ones. Our building folks basically said that if you're trying to clean the ductwork out with flexible ductwork, you're gonna have a time getting that cleaned out, where metal is a lot easier to do.
I just thought that was, but I'll second the motion.
Thank you. A motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Tom. Chair will entertain a motion to add 2 items to the agenda tonight.
Make a motion to add 2 items.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We have 2 items added. We will start with Mr. Osborne. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
This item is related to downtown and the National Register of Historic Places. In August, city staff was contacted by consultants who are being paid by the state to help city staff complete the application process so that the downtown business district can be on the National Register of Historic Places. Work on this project has been ongoing since at least 2007 by private and nonprofit sources. By being listed on the National Register, economic development officials can market downtown as being nationally designated. Recognition does not result in state or federal requirements. The nomination application needs to be sent to the state by the end of this month to be in the review time frame for a 2014 designation. The consultants have stated that they have enough data, but they also requested an accompanying letter of support from the mayor. City staff requests that council authorize Mayor Santini to sign such letter of support.
Okay. Any discussion on this?
Mayor, just a thanks to John Lewis, who got this started in 2007. That's a long time ago. And the reason the state stepped in is that some of the information was lost by the state. And so we were very fortunate to have 2 very capable consultants finishing this up. And so thanks to John Lewis and State of Georgia, Department of Natural Resources.
I'll throw your name into that list of thanks, and also Richard and the other staff folks that put a lot of time in that, so appreciate that. And hopefully, if y'all let me sign this letter, we'll put that in the application and we'll get a good response from them. So, that being said,
We do get this too, we do signage on the south, downtown.
yeah, absolutely.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
And I thank you for the second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Archer, you have need to guide us. Go right ahead.
Right, we do have a resolution that I propose, that you adopt. We, on October the 11th this year, the city received an anti-litem notice, which is a Latin term that none of you would understand. But it is a Latin term for the notice that a person has to send the city that they're going to sue us. And we got one of those from a fellow named Dexter Elroy Fleming, concerning his arrest on February 27th, 2003. He has a lengthy statement of the facts and circumstances and law that applies to his arrest. We have, he's also sent that to Bartow County Sheriff, and this is the Bartow Drug Task Force made this arrest, so it's sent it to Bartow County. We recommend from my office, after looking into it based on the information that we have, that you adopt the resolution before you deny the claim and giving direction to our office to inform Mr. Fleming of that denial.
Okay. Any discussion on this item? And if not, a motion's in order.
Motion to deny the petition.
Second.
Actually, just so there's no.
To approve the resolution.
Resolution.
Basically, the motion was to approve the resolution. Okay. And it's to approve the resolution, correct? Okay. So, motion to approve and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Or denying the claim, as you said. I just want to make sure we're very clear on that. All right, the monthly financial statement, Tom?
Honorable Mayor and Council, we'll be looking tonight at the August 2013 and comparing to August 2012. In the general fund, the revenues decreased by over last year by $53,000. Expenses have decreased by $179,000. This is due to a combined increase in personnel expenses and decreases in operating and capital expenses. Three areas of revenue I look at on a monthly basis are local option sales tax. We have a decrease from last year of $139,000. Police fines and forfeitures, we have a decrease of $36,000. And building permits and inspection fees, we have a decrease of roughly $2,000. The water and sewer fund, revenues decreased from last year by $96,000. Expenses decreased by $45,000. This is, again, a combination of increased personnel expenses, operating expenses, and debt service expenses, and a decrease in capital expenses. In the gas fund, revenues have increased over last year by $310,000. Expenses have increased by $380,000. This is due to increased personnel expenses, increased cost of purchased gas, and increased capital expenses. In the electric fund, revenues have decreased from last year by $106,000. Expenses decreased by $159,000. This is due to increased personnel expenses, coupled with decreased operating expenses, decreased cost of purchase of electricity, and decreased capital expenses. In the stormwater fund, revenues decreased from last year by roughly $8,000. Expenses increased by $300. This is due mainly to increased personnel expenses, coupled with decreased operating expenses and capital expenses. In the solid waste fund, revenues increased over last year by $5,800. And expenses decreased by $12,000, due mainly to increased personnel expenses and decreased operating expenses. And in the fiber fund, revenues have increased by $34,000, and expenses have increased by $19,000. This increase is due to increased personnel expenses, operating expenses, and capital expenses. And that is my report for the evening.
Okay.
Just want to add a couple things. We seem to have corrected the deficit that we've seen in the electric budget. We changed deficit that was in water. You remember we increased the minimums, that might have helped there. I think typically you see general fund and gas fund deficit this time of the year.
Correct.
Also, on your other sheet, the unrestricted cash covered about $1 million in the month. I think that's due largely to the reimbursement of bond funds for borrowing. So it's better than it was last month.
Was there any real reason why, I mean, I just always have noticed since we've been doing these that forever our police fines and forfeitures just continue to grow and grow and grow. And now the last 2 or 3 months in a row, I mean, is it because all of our people are driving safer out there and we just don't have as many
I wouldn't
fines?
say that, but at certain times of the year, people have more money. And I've been told at the tax season is when we typically, our fines and forfeitures go up a good deal.
Because they have more money?
Well, tax refunds are used basically to pay for
So
those
they can
fines.
pay for the stuff that
Correct.
they, okay.
Correct.
It'd be in the spring then. April, May.
So we don't need more police patrolling, right? We don't have, we don't need any more ticket writing, right?
We can stop
now, wait a-
everybody for everything. We might get a lot of complaints.
I'm sure I'm
It's
gonna
called
get
the
phone calls
officer's
in the morning.
discretion, right, Chief?
Mayor, I have a question. Randy, I have a question of you about building permits, since we're down from 2012, and
2012, there was a boost in the number based on the fact that we paid for the permits for the public safety building and so forth. So it caused the number to be exaggerated a little, the overall number. However, actual building permits are up this year versus last year.
okay, good.
Dollar-wise, it is not associated, correct?
Correct.
In other words, we paid ourselves.
Correct. As part of the consultant's fee and so forth, they purchased the building.
But you are seeing an upward trend
That is-
now.
We are.
In the same percentage as counties around us, or are you keeping up with
No.
that at all? No.
No, I think that, I know this because I have monthly meetings with folks from Powell. All of theirs is going up higher than they had projected or estimated. We're not seeing that kind of growth. I think we're probably seeing more of commercial remodels and commercial, not so much residential.
We are, but we actually have more residential this year than we did last year. I mean, last year we, Habitat for Humanity was our #1 home builder last year.
Yeah, it's,
That's no longer the case. We're having additional homes.
where are
go up.
those, Carter Grove or just all over?
None in Carter Grove, but all over in some of the subdivisions to add several vacant lots in them. We've seen a few, Grove Park.
Grove Park, the River Shores.
House.
Well, excuse me. As our inventory of foreclosures goes down, will that not maybe
Well,
mean some building?
foreclosures affect the sale of existing homes. A portion of the market does look for new homes and so forth, and that causes the increase in the building permits. But again, there was a flood on the market of foreclosed homes. But again, we still have several vacant lots available in the city for permits. So when the economy gets a little bit better and keeps on chugging along, we do have infrastructure in place for those new homes.
And I think the growth that you're seeing in neighboring counties tends to be a little more high-end than we are.
Okay, any other questions for Tom on the financial report? Thank you, sir. And we'll conclude this evening with citizen survey results.
Survey piece, again, this is measurement of quality of life, perception of quality of life, and perception of city services from a survey that we had done spring of 2013. This piece is culture, arts, and education. The first slide, again, you show the years. We survey every 2 years, so you have 2003 to 2013. These are on a 100-point scale, the percent excellent to good. You can see they're all rated over the years fairly flat, but the percentage good to excellent. Then we've got comparisons on the next page that show how we compare to norms of other cities in the southern region and nationally. Opportunities to attend cultural events and educational opportunities, those are all similar to all those norms. The next one, this is actual people, use of the library and people that have participated in religious events, and these are at least once in 12 months. The relative numbers are, I think that you tend to see a spike in the library that reflects approximately the time they improve facilities, so you get more use out of the facility. And I guess in religion, we had a pretty tough year in 2011. A lot of people going to religious events. The next shows the comparative norms, shows us much more than the national, much more than the regional and religious and spiritual events, similar to the norm of national and more than the regional norm for the library services. Next slide is, this is actual rating of the quality, not the use, but the rating of quality of the schools. And library services, again, excellent to good on a 100-point scale, showing all the different periods in the bars. The relative comparisons for schools and for library services. For public schools is above the national norm and much above the southern region. And then similar in both national and regional comparisons for library services. That's all I've got for this piece, and we'll have another little bit at the end of the next meeting.
And again, my commercial would be that on the front page, on our home page on our website, there are links to all this, the data that was collected, not just this section, but the entire ball of wax. Rather lengthy. How many pages is that, Rebecca? I'll put you on the spot.
Like over 100 and some.
Yeah, whole lot of data in there if you want to pour through that and get those survey results. So, is there anything else that needs to come before council tonight? Diane, I know you had something.
Mayor, I just want to remind everyone about the Bluegrass Festival. I guess it's the first one, isn't it? All day Saturday and Sunday, and I think it'll be a great attendance. I think it's going to really be a lot of fun. Bring a lot of people to downtown Cartersville, so come on out. Part of it will be held in the old Fire Station 1. So if we do have some rain on Saturday, still come.
There's also an event at the Grand Theater that night.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We hike on Friday.
Yes, we have Moonlight High, tomorrow night, meeting at 6:30.
Okay.
Very good. Anything other business that needs to come before council this evening? If there's none, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved.
Boom.
Get a harumph out of that guy.